In the summer of 2003, something happened across Europe that most of the world barely noticed while it was happening. There was no explosion, no headline-grabbing disaster, nothing loud enough to make the world stop and pay attention. Just heat. Just an ordinary summer that quietly, steadily, turned deadly. And by the time anyone truly understood what was unfolding, nearly 70,000 people were already dead. Not from war, not from disease, from something as simple and as invisible as a few extra degrees on a thermometer. It sounds almost impossible to believe. 70,000 lives, lost not to a single catastrophic event, but to weeks of heat that most people assumed they could simply wait out. And yet, according to the World Health Organization, this was not an isolated tragedy. It was the beginning of a pattern that has only grown worse with time. Heat-related deaths among people over the age of 65 have risen by approximately 85% between the early 2000s and 2021. This is not a one-time disaster we can look back on and say, that was unusual, that will not happen again. This is a slow, steady climb, and it is still climbing. In 2022 alone, Europe recorded an estimated 61,672 excess deaths, linked directly to heat. And when we look at the world as a whole, heat now contributes to roughly 489,000 deaths every single year. Europe alone accounts for more than a third of that number, which raises an important question. Why Europe? Why here more than almost anywhere else in the world? The answer lies not just in the heat itself, but in what Europe was built for. Unlike hotter regions of the world, where homes and infrastructure have long been designed to withstand extreme temperatures, much of Europe was never built for this kind of heat. Older buildings, with thick stone walls meant to hold in warmth through long winters. Fewer air conditioners because for generations they simply were not needed. And an aging population, many of them living alone, in homes that were never designed to protect them from days or weeks of relentless heat. It is a combination that quietly turns a hot week into a public health emergency. To understand why older adults are so much more vulnerable, we have to understand what happens to the body as it ages. As we grow older, the body gradually loses some of its natural ability to regulate temperature. Sweating becomes less efficient, which means one of the body's primary cooling systems simply does not work as well as it once did. Thirst signals become weaker too, so many seniors do not feel thirsty, even when their body is already dangerously dehydrated. And the heart, already working harder with age, has to work even harder still, just to keep blood flowing to the skin, in an effort to release heat. Now, add into this the common conditions so many seniors live with: heart disease, diabetes, dementia, and even the everyday medications many take, medications meant to manage blood pressure or heart rhythm or fluid retention. Suddenly, a hot afternoon is not just uncomfortable. It becomes genuinely dangerous. The World Health Organization has been direct about this. Heat stress can worsen nearly every major chronic condition older adults live with, and in some cases, it can cause acute kidney injury, even in seniors who were otherwise healthy before the heat arrived. But statistics, no matter how large, can only tell us so much. Behind every one of these numbers is someone's mother, someone's grandfather, someone who lived through decades of cold winters, only to be taken, quietly, by an ordinary summer. Many of these deaths happen without warning and without witnesses. Someone living alone. No air conditioning in the home. No one checking in day after day to see how they are coping with the heat. And by the time anyone realizes something is wrong, it is often already too late. This is precisely why the World Health Organization considers extreme heat one of the most underestimated climate-related health threats in the world today. Because it does not look like a disaster. It does not arrive with sirens or warnings on every news channel. It looks like an ordinary hot day, and that is exactly what makes it so dangerous. And yet, here is the part of this story that matters most. The World Health Organization also tells us that most of these deaths are preventable. Not through advanced medical technology. Not through expensive intervention, but through something far simpler: awareness and action, checking on elderly neighbors and relatives during heat waves, closing blinds during the hottest hours of the day, and opening windows at night to let cooler air in. Drinking water consistently, rather than waiting to feel thirsty. And learning to recognize the early signs of heat exhaustion before they quietly progress into something far more serious. None of this requires advanced technology. It requires attention. It requires someone noticing before it is too late. 70,000 lives lost in a single summer. That number should stop us in our tracks. And yet, for most of the world, it has already been forgotten. If this video has reached you today, perhaps it is not by accident. Perhaps it is a quiet reminder to check on someone you love. If you are watching this from the United States, please take a moment to tap that thumbs up button right now. It genuinely helps this video reach more people who need to see it. And if you are watching from somewhere else in the world, tell us in the comments which country you are watching from. We would love to know just how far this story is traveling. If this video moved you or taught you something you did not know before, please consider subscribing to Senior Wisdom. We share real, carefully researched stories like this one because we believe awareness saves lives. Thank you for watching, and please go check on someone today.